Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to the marketplace. Coming up this afternoon, Ghana records single-digit inflation for first time since 2021 as inflation in September dropped significantly to 9.4%. Also coming up this afternoon, DSTV price cut deal begins today, but company suggests it's only a promotion for a period. My name is Daryl Kwao. Thanks for being with us. Details coming up. Our first story this afternoon, the year-on-year inflation for September has dropped significantly to 9.4% from 11.5% in August 2025. This is the lowest since August 2021. Food inflation declined to 11% in September from 14.8% in August. Also, non-food inflation fell to 8.2% in September from 8.7% in August. The government statistician, Dr. Alhassan Idrisu, noted that the development shows that the pressures driving inflation over the past months are declining. Take a listen.
Just to ensure that we have a recap of the story that has been told for September 2025 inflation. The September 2025 inflation of 9.4 is actually showing a reduction in inflation from 11.5% recorded in August. And this 9.4% inflation is driven by a reduction in inflation on locally produced items from 12.2% in August to 10.1% in September, and also a reduction in inflation on imported items from 9.5% in August to 7.4% in September. The 9.4% inflation in September is also driven by a reduction in food inflation from 14.8% in August to 11% in September, and non-food inflation from 8.7% in August to 8.2% in September. And we have similar story for month on month. So the only difference here is that with the month on month, we are actually seeing the general price level increasing between August and September by 0.9% compared to what obtained in August when we saw the general price level reduce between July and August by 1.3%. Now this 0.9% month-on-month inflation we are witnessing is influenced by developments in food and non-food, where food inflation increased by 0.6% between August and September 2025.
All right, joining me on Zoom is Professor of Economics with the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research, Professor Peter Quartey. Good afternoon to you. Congratulations on your new title, Professor of Economics. What do you make of this milestone, a single-digit inflation, and what factors you believe have contributed most to the sustained drop? Is it largely as a result of government policies?
Good afternoon to you, and good afternoon to your discerning viewers. I've been a professor of economics since 2016. Thank you. Yes, the decline in inflation, we can attribute this to a few factors. We know that the IMF-led fiscal consolidation program is helping us to basically reduce our fiscal spending, be able to contain spending deficits, etc. So all of this is helping to reduce the pressures on food. Then also food production. You know, the season we are, rainfall, the weather seems good, rainfall pattern seems to be improving in the past couple of months. So certainly, since we have relied mostly on rain-fed agriculture, food prices have come down compared to previous months or same period last year. So we can see some stability there. Then, of course, relative stability in the exchange rate. You know, the exchange rate drives transport cost. It drives so many things on the market. And since we have seen some relative stability in the exchange rate, this certainly has led to decline in the rate of inflation. Doesn't mean prices are not increasing, but the rate of increase is not as rapid as we've seen in previous years. But Dara, I want to point out this, that if you look at the regional distribution, you will find that some regions are doing quite well, like the Bono East, where food production, etc., is quite good. Then our brothers and sisters in the Northeast region, they recorded the highest rate of inflation of about 20.1%. It tells you that, and besides this is one of the poorest parts of the country. So when food prices are increasing in such regions, yet they remain poor, that's where policy should target. We really have to look at those areas and place more emphasis on government policy to make sure we enhance production, we improve people's livelihood in such regions.
Can the current single-digit inflation be sustained in the medium to long term, do you think?
I mean, if we do the right things, if we continue to implement the IMF policies, not that when they are out of, I mean, we finished or complete the program, we relax. But if we continue to be prudent with our fiscal expenditures, if we continue to invest in irrigated agriculture, if we continue to spend wisely, I believe we can sustain this inflationary pressures and be producing more. I mean, we need to be enhancing production, ramp up production by enhancing irrigated agriculture. We have to be food sufficient, and that will help us contain inflation.
And to what extent does this single-digit inflation reflect the real or improvements in the real living standards of the average Ghanaian?
Well, we are not saying prices are not increasing, but the rate at which they are increasing is what has come down considerably. So the uncertainty in terms of having to worry about food prices, having to worry about how you're going to feed yourself, at least our mothers and brothers and sisters who go to the market can plan their expenditures when they have to buy from the shops, from the markets, etc. So that level of certainty itself is good for people's livelihood. But it does not mean, when we still have inflation of 9.4%, it tells you that prices are not stable, that prices are increasing, just that the rate at which they increase is coming down, and it makes planning better.
And we're seeing a significant decline in food inflation and of imported goods as well. What does this suggest? Are we seeing an improvement in supply chains and local production?
Oh, yes, certainly there's improvement in local production. As I mentioned, the rainfall patterns are much better. I believe people are investing in agriculture. When exchange rates, when there's macro stability, it gives certainty, and people continue to invest more in agriculture. Our major challenge, however, I must mention, is the illegal mining, is the galamsey, which is destroying our water bodies, destroying our farmlands, and poisoning our food. What is the point in enhancing GDP growth, enhancing per capita income, when you are poisoned, when your system, your body is poisoned, when your life expectancy is reduced by, let's say, a year? I mean, that cannot replace, no amount of GDP growth or livelihood improvement can replace your life expectancy. So I think in as much as we celebrate some of this stability, we have to look at the Galamsey issue, because there's no point in growing the economy, celebrating GDP growth when you are poisoning your system and poisoning future generations as well.
And with inflation now in single digits, what should be the focus of the government, the focus of monetary policy, the focus of fiscal policy?
Well, monetary policy should continue to basically look at the supply of money, and as usual, the central bank is well poised, well positioned to see how much money is chasing the goods in the system. So it can be more open up as and when the need arises. I mean, we've seen a recent policy direction to reduce the policy rate. These are all signs to ensure that when things are improving, you reduce the policy rate, which may translate into a reduction in lending and in other interest rates, and therefore enhance the real sector production. So monetary sector should continue to do all the good things it's doing. Then, in terms of our fiscal policy, I believe government can provide incentives. Government can also direct production into irrigation. We've seen a lot of money being channeled to the agricultural sector, or Ministry of Agriculture and other sectors. We need to do more in terms of irrigation. I don't see why, when there's a spillage in the Babri Dam, we run away. We should be able to tap that resource into a dam and also be able to use it for irrigation. So these are some of the things we need to do. Government has to support the supply chain, the value chain process in agriculture, from seed to land to credit, marketing, storage. All the processes need some support, and that is certainly the way to go.
Last question, how does this feed into the fifth review by the IMF? We know the visiting team is in town conducting its assessment of how we've had. Now, we've had news that we've attained single-digit inflation. How would that feed into the assessment and the review?
Well, at least that's one tick in the box. I mean, if inflation is coming down, it tells you that our fiscal position is also going to look better. So I believe the IMF will look at our spending, will look at our revenue, and then see how much deficit we are running, how much non-clearance areas we are clearing, and many other factors that is in the triggers, or as one may call it, in the policy. So I think this one shows it's an indirect way of saying the fiscal will be better, and therefore other triggers would work, and we'll be able to pass the review.
All right. Thank you so much, Professor Peace Akportey, Professor of Economics at the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research. Appreciate your time on the marketplace. We're taking a short break. When we come back, the back and forth, DSTV disagreeing with Sam George once again. We'll break it down for you. Welcome back. Time to talk tech. I'm joined by Samuel Dowuna, who's founder of Tech Focus 24. Good afternoon to you. Two stories you're looking at. First off, the Ghana Chamber of Telecommunications and Digital Chamber have jointly announced the appointment of Sylvia Owusu-Ankomah as their new Chief Executive Officer. That's effective the 1st of October. According to a statement, Sylvia brings a wealth of experience or expertise, strategic insight, and a strong track record in building partnerships and driving results. She has held key leadership roles at some of the country's leading multinational corporations, including MTN Ghana, Tigo, Airtel Tigo, and Guinness Ghana Breweries Limited. I just want your thoughts, Samuel, on what her focus should be. You're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Loud and clear.
Okay, good. Yeah, so let me first of all say very big welcome to Sylvia. I mean, should I even say welcome, because she has been in the industry for a while now. But coming to the chamber, that is where we'll probably even get to interact with her more. I mean, her roles so far haven't been one that we were able to interact with. But I think coming to the chamber now, the chamber is at the crossroads where we have an industry where now we are now moving to the next frontier, which is 5G. And the model that is being run, that is being pushed by the government now, is a shared model. And if you look at the telecoms chamber, it is basically made up of the telcos, and then some of the infrastructure companies like ATC, which is the tower company, and then Huawei, I think Ericsson and all those infrastructure people. So now there is a new player in town, which is the shared 5G network player, which is NGIC. I think it should be one of it should be one of the goals of Sylvia to see how NGIC can be brought on board, maybe at the membership level of the chamber, so that those discussions can be had at that level. Because as of now, the chamber has basically been the spokesperson for the telecoms, the telcos, and then some of the infrastructure companies. Indeed, there is also the digital Ghana, digital chamber also that they also have there, which is the more money guys and a few people. But I think that's one thing that she really needs to drive and push and make sure that at their level, that discussion about how we can drive 5G together as a country, it's achieved, from that level. So for me, otherwise, every other thing that the other CEOs were doing, we would expect to just continue, like fighting against fiber cuts, intervening between regulation and the operators and stuff like that. So that is that's my take on it coming. And once again, welcome to.
Well, next, the big story everybody's talking about, the DSTV back and forth. We're supposed to be enjoying price cuts and some nice deals today. But only a few hours ago, DSTV issuing a statement saying, oh, it's just a promotion we are doing for a period. What do you make of this latest back and forth?
Well, DSTV may have their reasons for communicating it that way. Remember, when the minister first started pushing for this 30% cut in DSTV subscription fees, he made it clear at his meet the press engagement that he had noticed that because of his push, DSTV was doing this very thing where you buy one package and then you are given the next higher package. And the minister said that is not what he wanted, but he wanted an actual price cut. But what has been communicated to us so far is basically what DSTV was doing. I think the only difference for me was that at the time it was a promotion. It was a 1 month promotion or so, or even if it's not 1 month, at least it's a limited time promotion where you cannot even move. So if you are on a particular package, you can't come down and expect to be given the higher the only thing you can do is start to stay on your same package, and then you can be giving higher, or you go up and you are also giving higher. But with what the minister has announced, which I think is a critical difference, is that the situation now is that if you are on, let's say, so let me use an example. If you are on, let's say, Compact Plus, which is 570, and you were getting a certain number of a certain amount of content. Now, when you pay 570, you are going to get premium. But then, if you still want to stay on Compact Plus, you can actually go down and pay 380, and you will still get Compact Plus, which wasn't available on the promotion that DSTV was doing. That is one. And then now again, if you pay, let's say 570, and you are giving premium, the premium will only be on TV, but will not be on your app or something like that. But so you see, what has been announced is a bit better than the kind of promo that DSTV is doing. But if DSTV is today telling us that what has been announced even by the minister is just a promo, maybe because we are looking at the end of every quarter, there's going to be a review, and that review will determine whether there's going to be a price increase, a decrease, or they are going to maintain. But to call it a promo, I'm not too sure. Maybe because they are working within a certain environment where other countries are also looking at Ghana. So if you don't communicate it well, maybe other countries will come after them, and they also want to seek to get certain packages like what Ghana has. So maybe that's why they are saying what they are saying. But per what the minister has announced, if you look at it critically, it's actually a reduction in the price.
Just a minute. Where do we go from here? It keeps going back and forth. It's not making the government look too good. These, if you like, disagreements between the government and DSTV, which is a private company, and I'm sure you've heard of the argument that it's a luxury product. If you can't afford, why make so much noise about it?
I mean, you see, I think the footing on which all this whole discussion began was wrong. What we have today is the result of Georgia, and so that's what it should have begun with Georgia. All these entrenched positions that the minister and DSTV were taking on various issues, it wasn't necessary. And like I'm saying, the way it began is why we had what we had. But what we have now is a result of Georgia, and like it was clearly communicated, at every quarter they are going to meet and discuss to see whether we should increase prices or not based on the market conditions. So I think we are at a good place now.
I don't think we've seen the end of this story just yet. Samuel Duwina, founder Tech Focus 24. I always mix that up. Thank you so much. More news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Darryl Kwao. Thanks for watching. We leave you with our Money Lab episode for today.
Hello, welcome to Money Lab. My name is Paul Mante, Managing Director of EDC Investment Limited, a member of the EcoBank Group. We have been discussing financial independence, and today I want to share with you some steps you need to take towards financial independence. And I want to talk to you about the fact that you need to take a decision to become financially independent. That decision needs to be taken because poverty and riches are both based on decisions. If you don't decide to be rich, you will be poor. And the truth is that the lack of money is a major source of stress in our lives and relationships. We are very religious people, I know. We thank God for prayer and fasting, but you can pray and fast and still die of hunger. If you haven't taken that decision, take that decision today to become financially independent. Many thanks for making time for Money Lab, and never forget, financial independence is possible.